Good evening, everyone. Welcome aboard on a Monday night. So excited to have everyone here. Michael, we got a full crowd, and you notice that Michael's got somebody with him. He's got little Michael. There's little Michael in the house. So we had a great time the other day. So I wanted Nate to be on here and sort of talk about his experience as we took him out metal detecting with us last Friday, and we had a ball. Did we not, guys?
Yeah, we did. We made some good finds. It's got a little hot on us middle of the day, but we had a good time.
Oh yeah, it was awesome, and we went out. And what did we do after we got through metal detecting?
We got some Mexican food.
We got some Mexican food. It was so good, and we got rained on. We had a little bit of everything. It was a full blown adventure for sure, and but really a lot of fun. I so enjoyed being with these guys, and it was just an awesome time, and super excited that Nate decided to join Michael and I tonight. So we appreciate him. So we got little Michael and big Michael with us, and we got a couple of great things we're going to talk about tonight too, which I think you guys are going to be really interested in seeing. We actually did some. We actually did a little bit of testing while we were out in the field with the Manicore and the Deus 2, sort of showing you a little bit of differences with some targets. Show you a little bit of Nate finding one of his first finds of the day. We got him on video with that, and he was using the Xterra Elite. So we're going to show that, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the 789 deal with the Deus 2 for those people that are interested in that. So we got a few things we're going to be discussing tonight, but thank you everyone for being here tonight. We so appreciate each and every one of you guys being here. Let's give a couple of shout outs like we always do. And we've also got finds coming tonight too, Michael. So we're going to share a couple of finds from some of our viewers. But let's give our shout outs. There's Wisco Detects in the house. Mr. Chris is in the house. There's Mr. Digging Daryl. Always excited to have Digging Daryl in with us. We've got Wilton 925. He said he was in England, Ireland, and Scotland for the last 3 weeks, but he sure wished he could have had his metal detector with him. I'd love to go metal
Yeah,
detect over in Europe. Yeah, that would
yeah,
be
maybe
awesome.
one day. I'd love to go one day.
I hope so. I hope we can all go. That would be really nice. Mr. Sodfather is in the house. Glad to have Sodfather. And we've got Mr. Ricky Bennett in the house. Glad to have Ricky. Workman's Adventure is in here with us. Mr. Cameron Block is in here. Glad to have Cameron with us. Let's see. Trevor Van Horn's in here. Glad to have Trevor in here with us tonight. Miss Bells is in here. Super excited to have Bells in here with us. Teshridge Digger's in the house with us, Michael. DCM Detects, always a loyal supporter of the channel. Appreciate him being in here with us tonight. We got Mr. Flyrock himself, Joel. Glad to have Joel in here. We'll talk a little bit about Joel in just a few minutes. Damian Thorne, he says he's here just in time, Michael, to check us out. We're glad to have Damian in here as always. Golden Dredger is in here. Appreciate him being in here tonight. Thank you so much. Mr. Gene Gilstrap's in here with us tonight. And Mr. James Bazell is in here. Glad to have James. And we got, look at there, there's Mr. Surfside Dan. Always super
Hey,
excited to have
Dan.
Dan in here with us. Rito Marcella's in here. Glad to have Rito all the way from Ireland. And he's a regular on here too now. So we appreciate him being with us. Mr. Edward G is in the house with us. Mr. Old Beeline is here with us tonight. Appreciate him being here. And I think I'm hitting everybody. I know there'll be a few more joining in as the night progresses. But hopefully we got to at least recognize everyone that's in the chat tonight. So we appreciate you guys being here. So, fellas, what y'all think about your metal detecting adventure with me on Friday?
Um, Pretty exhausting. Trying to keep up.
Yeah, pretty exhausting trying to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the field that we hunted, they had dished it up, and it kind of brought it to life. But it was really dry too.
Yeah, it
And
was
we
really
got
dry.
rain. we got rain there later that day, but it really needed. While we were hunting, it was so dry.
Yeah.
It made it a little tough, but
It was, and I actually went back later after it had rained and hunted it again, and I've got a few videos. If you haven't already looked at the channel, I just put up a video with the triple score on the same exact site, and you guys can go watch that if you're interested in the triple score. I I took it on its first relic hunt on that site, and it actually did very, very well. And so, you guys that can, when you get a minute, go over there and check that video out. I think you'll like it. Some pretty scenery, if anything. And then we go into the hunt with the triple score. I was using the big coil, which is what Nate used the other day when we were out on this side as well. So, yeah, I was using that big coil, and that big coil can be. How'd you like that big coil, Nate?
It worked pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked real good.
was it heavy or
No,
balanced pretty good?
I mean, it won't that heavy to me, but I'd say somebody was fair build, or a little bit older, I can see how it can be a problem, but for me,
Yeah.
it ran pretty okay.
Yeah, I thought it does okay. And like I said, it's hard to, I'm like you though, Nate. I struggle pinpointing with it because I'm not used to using that big of a coil.
Yeah.
And Michael seen me use the 15-inch coil too on the Manicore, but I like it really good too, and it's not that heavy. That 15-inch coil. A couple of other people have joined in with us. Mr. Lance McElwain's in the house. Glad to have Lance with us. And we got Mr. Dirt Devil Detecting in the house. Glad to have Dirt Devil Detected. So appreciate you guys being with us tonight. We got 38 people in the house, and hopefully we'll have more as the night goes on. So let's share a couple of finds real quick, and then we'll get into some of the video content and some of the things that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to add these finds up here real quick. And and these finds, by the way, are sponsored by our main man, Mr. Joel from Metal Detecting Buy, Sell, and Trade. And we appreciate Joel being a great sponsor of the channel. If you're looking for anything metal detecting related, you're looking for a metal detector, you're looking for an accessory, hit Joel up. Joel can do you right, and he'll get you set up and going in the right direction. But we appreciate Joel and everything he does. So we're gonna go through a couple of finds, and Michael, I've got a great find that I want to share, and I think everyone will appreciate this find. And this was also dug off of the same site that Michael and Nate went to me with, as well as Dan, who's on here right now. So they know the background and the history of this site. But take a look at these finds. So the first one is probably one that I'm really cherishing. And I believe, now I'm not totally sure, but I'm 90% sure that this is a South Carolina Rev War button. It's made from pewter. We believe that it might be a second regiment, which would mean, if it is, that would be Francis Marion's regiment from South Carolina, and that's a pretty historical find if that's what it is. I'm still waiting on verification, but it looks really, really, really close. You can definitely make out the S and the C. You can make out, and these were very crudely made during that period. The strike mark on it can be all over the place on these buttons. But what do you guys think about that button?
Yeah, it was well. We didn't really know what we had to start with when you dug it. We it took us a while looking at it, but we know the old swamp fox was in that area there, and so I mean that makes sense to me. And it does after you clean it up some. You can make out the ASC for sure on it. So.
Right. So if it is a South Carolina Second Regiment button, this is probably the rarest button I've ever dug in my entire life.
Right.
So
yeah, it's rare for sure.
It's very, very, very rare. The other button was one I dug yesterday, actually, Michael, and it's a flat button, but it's got a jewel in the center of it. And I have never seen a button like that with a jewel in the center. So that's just I, I just don't know. I've never seen one like that. But
So
yes,
it was a button. It wouldn't have panned it right.
no, it's a button. It's got a
It's
shank
got a
on the back
shank.
of it and everything.
Pretty
So
neat.
yeah, also very old. Got nice patina to it, brass. But again, these two buttons were two buttons that I've never done before. And the South Carolina one, if that's what it turns out to be, which I'm feeling really good because I've had two other people I did and tell me the same thing, then that is probably one of the rarest buttons that I've ever dug. I was running I was running the Deus 2 for the
Right.
South Carolina button, and the button with the jewel, I was running the MindLab Manicore with the 9-inch coil. So yeah, yeah, it's possibly a lady's button, but whoever owned that button was definitely someone that was very wealthy. And, that's just, I mean, it's just unheard of to dig one of those with a jewel in the center of it. Have you ever dug one like that, Michael?
Uh, Not that I remember. I have dug like a brooch like that, but not a button that I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just a unique button, and it was something I wanted to share. So the other find, and I don't know that this guy, yeah, for sure it was someone wealthy that lived in the 17 or early 1800s. So the next find was shared to us by one of our normal viewers. He's not on here tonight, but he might not have known. But I wanted to share this because this was something sort of unique too. He's a beach hunter, and he wanted to make sure that I shared this. And this was found by Mr. Matt Johnson. This is a junior aviator's pilot ring, Michael. Check that out.
That's pretty neat. I know
Yeah.
he took a trip to Santa Barbara, California, and done some beach detecting out there, and I
Yeah,
think
well, I
that's
don't
where he
know.
found that.
That's where he found it out in
I,
California.
I'm pretty sure it is. I think it was
Yeah,
in Santa Barbara where he found that.
yeah, that's just a beautiful ring, and yes, it would have. It was just, he sent it to me, and I was going like, man, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But that's a very, very nice ring. And I wanted to share that. Matt Johnson is also Metal Detecting Texas. Isn't that
Hmm.
right?
That's right.
Yeah, Metal Detecting Texas. Y'all can go check his channel out. He does a lot of beach hunting in Texas. Just got through with dealing with the hurricane, and he was super excited to go out and find a ring right off the bat. So we're congratulations to Matt. We wanted to be able to share that for him. So Gene Gilstrap wanted to know, how does the 9-inch compare to the 11-inch on the Manicore? Well, Michael, what do you think?
The 9-inch is I mean, there's a big weight difference. They really, to me, it balances that machine more with that 9-inch coil. And I mean, you can swing it
Well,
all day. Depth wise, I don't think, I mean, it's, it's, it's pretty deep, that 9-inch coil. It's not far
yeah.
from being as deep as the 11-inch, I think.
Yeah, and
But it's lighter.
we've had this conversation on here quite a few times about the 9-inch coil.
Right.
To me, I don't know that the 9-inch is ever going to come off of my Manicore. I love that coil, the M9 coil for the Manicore, and that's what I found that button with. And that button's actually really small. That picture makes it look big, but it's actually really small. And the 9-inch, I just think is just like you just said, it perfectly balances out the Manicore, and it really works very well. And that button again was very small, and it sniffed it out with no problem. I was using the 11-inch coil on the Deus 2 the other day. And so since we're talking about the Deus 2 and we're talking about the Manicore, let's share a little video that we did out in the field. And you guys pay attention. I know it's going to be hard to pay attention, and I might start laughing a little bit. Michael knows why I'll be laughing, but pay attention to what you're seeing on the video and look at the screens And this is a really good video that basically is showing you what both machines are actually doing and how those machines just can give you so much data right out there in the field if you pay attention to it. So again, pay attention to those things. Metal Detecting Northwestern Wisconsin in here. Glad to have him with us real quick. Mr. Keegan's in here with us now. So glad to have Keegan in here. Wanted to recognize those two as they are regulars to the channel. So I'm going to play this video. We're going to look at the Manicore and we're going to look at the Deus 2 out in the field from this past Friday. So we're going to take a look at both of those machines in action and see if you guys can pick up on the things that I'm picking up on. Here we go, guys.
Yeah. All right, guys. So this is an interesting signal. So we're looking at the Manicore. You guys can see there's a bunch of targets. Hopefully there's not a glare on that. So we've got a center line target, and then we got some of it bleeding up into the upper ferrous limits. Now the Manicore is also flashing some red lines, and we're getting a 38, 35, 36. Now I just swung over it with the Deus 2, and we're gonna do that real quick. All right, move out the way, Nathan. So now we're gonna swing over it with the Deus 2, and I'm gonna let you guys hear this so you'll understand what we're talking about. So I'm using the sweeper program, and listen, I can hear that there's some iron mixed in with this target. Now it's 6970, but I can hear there's a little bit of iron mixed in with this. So we saw what the Manicore screen was saying. We're hearing what the Deus 2 is saying. So now we're going to dig this target and we're going to see what this is.
Okay, guys. So before we move forward, so you guys saw what was coming up on the screen. If you paid attention to the Manicore, you saw that there was a target on the center line, but you also saw some bleeding up into the upper ferrous limits. And so that's a tough target, because we know that could either be a good target or it's possibly mixed with iron. I go over there with the Deus 2, and I know it's sort of hard to pick up, but the Deus 2 was also indicating that there was some iron in that hole and was giving me a little bit of that iron buzz mixed in with that good signal. So we're going to dig this target, and you guys are going to get to see this. And it shows the capabilities of both of these machines and what both of these machines are really good at. The Manicore is really good at giving you that target ID mixed in with that screen. But you get that screen to sort of figure out, hey, this is what's going on in this hole. And then with the Deus 2, you got that superior audio that's telling you, hey, there's a good target down here, but there's also some iron possibly mixed in with this as well. So, yeah, so that's where we're at. Yeah, the Manicore, Michael and Nate did not have their audio turned on. And I forgot to turn mine on yesterday for the first 3 or 4 holes, so I can relate. But it sounded good, did it not, Nate?
Yeah.
He said it had a little buzz to it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So buzzing in the background a lot.
Right. Well, the Manicore, the screen was giving you some good indications too of what was going on in that hole without hearing the audio. So that was the whole gist of what we were trying to show. But let's watch this video and let's see what we pull out of the hole.
Because this is an interesting one. Now I was getting a 6970, and Michael's going to dig this target, and let's see what he gets. I could hear the iron mixed in with it. Is it out?
It's out.
Okay, so what's it showing up now?
70, 70.
Okay, wait a minute. Now let me swing over it so you guys can hear it. All right, 6970 is what I'm seeing. So let's see what Michael gets here. Michael's got him a button. So it was a flat button. Is there anything on that button, Michael?
No, it's a another time back.
Okay.
Plain.
So this sort of shows you what we've been talking about. Now this target was mixed with iron because we could hear the iron in it, and the Manicore was showing the iron in it, and the Deus 2 was telling us there was iron in it. So we both got really basically the same thing. The signal was consistent. It was a repeatable signal, and both machines definitely identified it, told that it was a mixed target, and both machines gave us a pretty good audio on it to tell us what was going on there. So that's just something that you guys can maybe stick in the reference bank. If you've got both of these machines, then you might want to pay attention to that. And hopefully you were able to hear the iron mixed in with the Deus 2, because I could hear it definitely. And of course the Manicore was showing that there was some iron mixed in with it as well. So there you go, good little lesson there. And Michael's got him a nice flat button. So we'll take that and we'll keep on hunting, and we'll catch you guys on our next find.
Okay, so yes, what do you think, guys? James just says, yeah, says, got to dog that one. Sounds too good. To heck with the iron grunt. Well, you know, believe it or not, though, James, there are some people out there that they hear any bit of iron, they're not messing with it. They're not fooling with it. Now, the one thing that gave it away on the Deus 2 and the Manicore was that we did have a repeatable signal. And that's what I said at the end of the video. The signal was repeatable, and that's why we chose to dig it more so than anything. Now, if we would have turned on it and that signal might have disappeared, then we would have had to maybe do a little bit more investigation. So the second thing that you could possibly do if that were to happen, there's a couple of scenarios. Number one, you could see if you could circle around it and then pick it back up again at some point. Or if you got another program that you can switch into, you can also see if you're picking that signal up and it's still remaining repeatable. Now that was a button, so it was a lower conductive target for the most part. So you know, you might want to go to a different program that might focus on lower conductors or mid conductors, whichever one you want to call it, and be able to pick that out as well. So but anyway, I thought that was a great video. This sort of shows the strengths of both of those machines. That screen showing you the identification, showing you it was mixed, there was some iron there, it was bleeding up into that upper ferrous limits. And then you saw on the Deus 2, you heard me saying, and then you heard the audio saying, look, there's some iron in here too. I'm hearing it as well. So it sort of confirmed what we were seeing on the Manicore screen as well. So again, I think it really focuses on the strengths of both of those machines. What do you guys think?
Both machines, you could walk all the way around it. I know in the Deus 2, I could walk all the way around it, and I was getting a 70, 71. You would still hearing a little bit of iron in the background, but it was locked on pretty good. So we knew it had to be both of those machines, most of the time, they're not going to lie to you. If they say it's non-ferrous, it's going to be non-ferrous.
Right. And Northwestern Wisconsin says, hey, that just shows why I love my Deus 2. I'm a listener. And Nate, of course, we didn't have the audio turned on or the speaker turned on for the Manicore, but Nate was saying too, he could still hear that signal. He could hear that tone. But he also said too that he could also hear a little bit of iron mixed in with it as well. There was a little bit of crackling to it. And but again, both machines just did excellent. And that was just a great example of the strengths of both of those machines and how both of those machines could be utilized to the best of their ability. And again, I don't think you go wrong with either one of those machines. Don't y'all agree, guys?
I agree. I mean, they're so close in performance. I mean, we've said that time and time again, but it's true. I mean, I'm more familiar with the Deus 2. Michael knows this. Nate seen me use the Deus 2 the other day. I mean, I'm more familiar with that machine. So I love that Deus 2. And like I said the other night on our live stream the audio is just, that really tells me a lot about what's going on with that target. And my ear has become so adjusted to those sounds
that, you know, I feel like I can find anything with that machine. But I also feel very confident in the Manicore. You know, the Manicore does such a great job out in the field, and you know, the screen. You know, even though you know, some people don't like the idea of using that screen, but that screen can give you some valuable data and some feedback that some users definitely want. And so I see the strengths of both of those machines based on what we just saw on this video. I mean, and it was, gosh, it was just the perfect example of those machines and how that's those machines at their best out in the field, which is what I love. What do you think, guys?
I think so. I mean, it's like I told Nathan, if you dig, you know, if you were just to only walk that field and dig those targets that are on that center line, a perfect circle, you're going to find buttons. There's no
Yeah.
doubt with that
Joel,
Manicore.
Joel says
Yeah.
Deus 2 says that's a no-brainer, huh? It did. It did. I mean, y'all heard it. I mean, it was
Right.
telling me. It was screaming at me. But again, it's because I've got that machine set up in the program that I know works the best out in that field. You know, and we've talked about the sweeper program. I mean, I've talked it to death, but that sweeper program works the best in that field. It works really good in my area. I'm not saying it's the best program out there. I am telling you that it works for me. And, you know, I've found tons of artifacts. You've seen me dig thousands of targets with that program. And you and I have sort of combined to design that program and figured out, hey, this is what's going to work in our area. So again, the sweeper program just really works well, and I'm just so used to the Deus 2. But again, the Manicore has got its strengths too, and both of those machines are very, very, very close. Workman's Adventure says, yeah, the Manicore is a beast. Haven't used the Deus 2 but a few times, and you can't go wrong with either one. I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, they're just two incredible machines. Digging Darrell says he's more comfortable with the Deus 2, and I like the Deus 2 because of the weight, the ergonomics of it. But when you run that Manicore with that M9 coil, I mean, that sort of goes out the window too, because they're really close, you know, running that M9 coil.
Right. We've compared a lot of targets with both of those machines, you know, hunting with both of them. And it's just, I can't remember a time when one wasn't better than the other one. Both of them were seeing the target, you know. And
right. And he brings up a good point. He says, I don't have the Manicore, but with that 3D screen available, it's actually 2D, but with the screen available, it really can help a user. So I can see the importance of that screen, especially if you're trying to decide on a dig and not dig situation. But there are things that the Deus 2 can do in a dig and not dig situation too, that could help you determine whether that target's going to be accurate or not. So it's just incredible that we have two machines that are that good at this point. Dirt Devil Detecting says, I love that program. It works very good in New England. I have adjusted a couple of things, but didn't need to. Look, you adjust them for your sites. Michael and I have just found out that program set up the way that we're running it really knocks fire. And I've got a video coming where that's all I ran the entire day with that sweeper program. And it's a thing of beauty. It just is. I mean, it just totally just white, and it's on that same field too. So it just goes in there and it just starts picking stuff out left and right.
Brian, I know you like to run the high square on that. Do you think there's any advantage to running the high square over the square or PWM, or is it just?
I don't, Michael. I think part of that is just sometimes I just get tired of the crackling. You know, PWM I love, and I've said that a gazillion times. That's pretty much what I cut my teeth on was pitch and fast and that type of program, and opening that machine up as wide open as it could run. And sometimes I just leave it on high square or square, And I love that sound. That sound is so obvious. And even on that target, I could still hear that iron. Now, I do believe, and Philippe said this the other night on the live stream, I do believe that the Deus 2 in PWM does give you the most tonal nuances than high square does. I just believe that 100%. And I think he's exactly right on that. And, it's all a matter of choice and personal preference. If you like running that high square and you like that sort of cleaner sound, you're not getting a lot of that. Sometimes PWM and running it that way can sometimes give you a little bit of ear fatigue trying to decipher all the targets sometimes. And sometimes high square just makes it a lot easier. And so at least that's my opinion on it. Let's see. Wisco Detect says, I agree. I wish I had a Manicore coming from Mind Lab background, but the audio on my Deus 2 is unmatched. I have not used my remote all season long, only audio, and I love it. True, you can do that. And I've done that on occasion. I still like looking down at that screen occasionally too, though, and I'll be honest, as that can sometimes be the whole reason between dig and not dig. And again, I know we talked about this the other night on the live stream, is how efficient you can be. Well, I think using the screen along with that audio makes you more efficient. Don't you think so, Michael?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the audio is more descriptive on that Deus 2, especially in PWM. And but it's like you said, it's personal preference. I was running the Manicore some, and you were running the Deus 2, and vice versa. And the tones in that high square and the Manicore, they're not that far apart, because you can sit there and listen to both of them. I could hear your machine and mine, and it's
right.
It kind of makes it easier if you're going from a Mind Lab and you go to a Deus 2. Maybe you want to start out on that high square, and then later on you can work yourself into PWM and give it a try.
That's good. That's a good point, Michael. Rito says that he can't wait to get his hands on the new elliptical coil. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Of course, XP said that the other night. That elliptical coil's coming. That's going to be happening fairly soon. I'm hoping sooner than later. And I'm hoping, Michael, that I'll be one of the first ones to have one of those coils in my hands, as XP has really been working hard on that new coil and the innovation that's revolving around that new coil as well. Right. Mark Traylor says, hey, I love the Manicore, but I also really like the Deus 2. Both machines are close. It's really hard to pick one over the other. I agree. I mean, I'm a Deus 2 guy, though, just like most of the people on here. But the Manicore, Michael's seen me. I've dug probably 3 of the best finds of my career this past year using the Manicore. But again, finds don't always equate to whether a machine is better than one over the other. So always keep that in mind as well. Test Ridge Digger wants to know, what kind of depth do you get with the sweeper program? Very good depth. Michael's got a 16-inch Civil War bullet buried in his yard, and running that sweeper program in sensitive full tones, we can hit that bullet. In fact, I honestly believe that sensitive full tones, to me, might be the deepest program on the Deus 2.
I think it is. I mean, you go down to around, to 1.52 on that reactivity on that bullet, and I can hear it, no problem. So I mean, it's at least one of the deepest, if not the deepest on there.
I think so. I think so too, Michael. Dirt Devil Detective says he's already put aside $400 to get that coil. He says, but that's what he's figuring the price will be. I don't know what the price will be. They haven't revealed that.
It's probably going to be in that range. So.
Yeah, they haven't revealed that information to me yet. Where I detect targets are few and far between, so I dig all repeatable targets, iron crackle or not. Right, and you're going to do that. On that site that we were on, you're going to dig those targets, because one of those targets could turn out to be the one. And so you don't play around on a site like that as well. Dirt Devil Detective says, test rig, he's pulled Colonial buttons 14 inches or deeper with the sweeper program. Yeah. Thank you, Dirt Devil Detective. I appreciate that. Ferris Gump is on here. He says he's always been open to learn what can help you achieve your treasures. Right. And I'm glad you said that, Ferris Gump, because that's what this channel is about. We just showed both of those machines, but we didn't tell you which machine we thought was better, because again, I think a lot of that has to do with you. You've got to decide, not Michael and I, not Michael and I and Nate. You've got to be the one to decide what machine works the best for you. We can show you these machines. We can show you how they run, how they operate. And we're trying to give people the best possible settings, situations, and things that they can go out to the field with any of these machines and be successful with those machines. And again, history first, machines, the hobby, all of that goes together. And that's what we try to do on here. So we appreciate you bringing that up as well. Right. Detector 2 Guns says, get as much info as possible before you dig. And some people may sit there and speculate over it a while. I know some people that will go round and round before they decide to dig. They'll switch to programs. They'll change some of the settings. They'll circle the target. They'll do all kinds of things before they dig. And that's fine. But if you've only got one shot at a site, how are you going to go about attacking that site? And that's what we're trying to give you here, is to give you some of the best situations, the best ways to go about getting to that as well. Flyrock says, for me, the Deus 2 seems to lock up small targets better in tough iron. I agree. Michael, how many times did I tell you I've dug small pieces of lead off of this site?
Oh, it's loaded with little small pieces of lead. There's no telling. I mean, it was everywhere.
Right.
And it is on a lot of these old colonial sites. For some reason, there's a lot of pieces of lead everywhere. I don't know what they're doing with that, but even just you did dig a big piece of lead too. And I mean, what are they using that for? I don't know.
Yeah, it's big old pieces of lead out there. I mean, it was crazy stuff. Yeah. Digging Dude's on here. He says, unfortunately, my 13-inch Deus 2 coil drowned on its way back from repair. Wouldn't charge and made strange noises after doing some wade hunting in the Atlantic Ocean. Well, you need to send it back to them. If you got it repaired and it did that, then they need to fix that for sure. Sweeper program picks up a 10-inch mercury dime in his mild soil, and mercury dimes are hard to hit when you start getting really deep. Test Ridge Digger wants to know, can I use sensitive full-tone sweeper program hunting tot lots, gravel, parking lots, and sidewalk strips? Sure, you might have to make some adjustments to it. But yeah, you can hunt it. My buddy Rob Rizzo is on here from time to time. That's all he uses for his parks and his yard hunts is the sweeper program. So again, I appreciate you digging Daryl. Digging Daryl just gave us a donation. Appreciate you so much of $20. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we had another one too earlier. Mr. Mark Trailer, I appreciate you too. Again, all those donations go back to support the channel. And again, it's not free to put on this live stream. Believe it or not, I have to pay for the streaming service and have all the features and things that you guys like. And so it does cost money for that. I've got money invested in cameras. I've got drones. I've got all those other things. And so all those machines or all those donations go to support all those different things that we have that we use here on Southern Relic Adventures. So again, let's go back here. Dirt Devil Detecting says, I'll hit you up, Joel, once they become available and taking pre-orders. Right. So yes, hopefully Joel will have those real soon, or within, maybe the next 3 or 4 months, maybe, possibly. So we'll see what happens. Let's see here. Wisco Detect says, I just worked 5 hours of overtime to put away for that coil. Can't wait. There you go. There's a lot of people excited about that coil, Wisco, for sure. Let's see. Anybody else? Okay. Well, that's again, let's talk a little bit. We talked about the Mania core. We talked about the Deus 2. Let's talk a little bit about this elliptical coil, Michael. The weird thing was, Philippe really couldn't give me an idea about what the frequency range is going to be of this new HF elliptical coil that's coming. What do you think it's going to be, Michael?
Well, I mean, it's, the Deus One elliptical coil, it was kind of geared towards gold prospecting. So it went up to, um, what did it go up to? Around 80, right?
Yeah,
So I don't know if, this was going to go up quite as high as that. It may, it could be this, the same scenario. It's going to be for gold prospecting, and we rarely hunt with it too. But it's going to be interesting. I hope it is black this time. I
well, I
mean,
hope it's not white either. How about you guys? What do
yeah,
y'all want another white elliptical coil like the Deus One, or do y'all want it to be black, or do y'all want
I'd
it to
rather
be
have a
some
black
funky
one.
color? That was the other
What
thing.
about a red one?
Yeah, what about a red one? Dirt Devil Detective says 70 plus. Right. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you that little elliptical coil, I used it a few times. I had it I maybe used it on about 2 or 3 hunts for the Deus One. Now I like the coil, but it was really, we just talked about it being really sensitive to small targets. Well, it really is sensitive to small
Right.
targets when you start boosting that frequency and getting those things up. Thank you so much, Ferris Gump. I appreciate you, buddy. And we got your shirt coming too. I think Ferris was the one that won our shirt. So we got that coming to him. But thank you so much, and we appreciate that donation. Doug Atkins says he wants a neon green.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something different.
Something different. I don't know. Who knows? I should have asked Philippe the other night. Detector Two Guns says neon yellow for sure. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. And like I said, I hope to be one of the first ones to have that coil and be able to show it here in the United States. And XP has sort of indicated that I would be one of those people. So I can't wait to get it in my hands and start using it on my sites as well. Yes, Rito, that was a good question. He says, will they put the battery in the shaft? And the answer to that is yes. He did say that the battery would go back
I
in.
like that better. That's one of the features I like with those ATF coils on the Deus One, with that battery
Right.
in the shaft.
I think so too. Let's see. I like this one. Somebody said that they wanted it to be camo colored. Well,
Cortec has some camo coils. I remember seeing.
camo coils. Thank you, Ferris Gump. I appreciate you, buddy. So Wisco says that he likes the white. Then people that I know will know. There you go. Sniff It Out says something that stands out. Glad to have you in here. Sniff It Out. Digging Dude says white for the elliptical is fine, like my old one for the Deus One, but neon would be cool as well. So there you go. So I think I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping that coil will be here in the next 2 to 3 months. Now I could be wrong. He didn't really give us a specific time frame the other night, but there was some really good information. And for those of you that maybe missed some of that live stream, the other thing that he said, Michael, and I know you watched it too, was there's going to be a software update, which we sort of figured. Now what's all going to be involved in that software update? We know it's going to be to allow the machine to be able to use this HF coil, but there could be some other surprises mixed in there too, which is what I think a lot of us are hoping for. And we're going to talk about what some of you want those surprises to be. And then also he said that they're going to improve the audio, Michael.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really fascinating, that they were talking about improving the audio on that machine. So that's
when he talks about that, Brian, what do you think? You think it's just an improvement on the existing audio, or they have a new, kind of a new audio theme that they're going to add on to it?
He didn't really allude to what it was actually going to be. He just said the audio was going to be better, and that was pretty much it. And Digging Daryl's I think like you and I were more interested in the software.
I said
update.
the same thing.
Yeah. And we've said that too, that we're more interested in the software update than we are probably even more so than the coil. And so that's going to be something too that was going to be really interesting. Let's see. Digging Dude says, I heard Philippe, but what is wrong with the current audio? They're just trying to make it even better. Is what he tried to tell us the other night on this live stream. So, how much better they can make it. That's what I said. I said, I can't believe it can get any better than what it is, but apparently it can. And again, these guys are pretty forward thinkers when it comes to when they release a machine, how much they can actually do to that machine and the lifespan of that machine. That's the other thing. The Deus One, like we said, was released in 2011, and it's still going strong almost 14 years later. And you can still pick it up and you can still use it and you can still find things with it. So what's going to be the lifespan of the Deus 2? Now, with the way technology is advancing, it might not have the same lifespan that the Deus 1 had. But I got a feeling they're expecting it to at least get 10 years out of it. Don't you think so, Michael?
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, it's, we just, the Deus One, when was the last update we got for it? It hadn't been too long ago.
Yeah, it was just like 3 or 4 months ago, actually, if I remember correctly. Tater Two Guns says, is the update for the new coil? It is, but what else are they going to bake in there? You don't know, So let's hope so. Let's hope so. Golden Dredger says, definitely looking forward to the Deus 2 update. Fingers crossed it's a game changer. Edward G says, yeah, he said something about hiring an audio. Right. So they had hired a guy that's all he does is he works in like audio for like stereo equipment and all this kind of stuff. So whatever they're doing, it's something sort of big. And they really think that it's going to be something that's really going to enhance that audio even better. Destrious Digger says, hey, can you eliminate pull tabs? I don't know. Pull tabs are the bane of existence as far as I'm concerned, especially if you hunt on the beach. It's like awful. Digging Dude says, maybe it'll speak to me and tell me to dig it, dummy. I say that quite often too. Dirt Devil Detecting says, I hope the new update will take care of the VDI issue if he is showing lately. And you bring up a good point, and I'm going to show y'all something. Now, y'all can do with this whatever you want. And I've said this a few times, but I want you guys to watch this video that I'm going to show in just a few minutes. Tell me what you guys think and tell me what you're seeing out in the field, but we'll show that in just a few minutes. Dirt Devil Detecting says something big. Is there going to be a subwoofer? That would make the sound so incredible. I don't know. I really don't know. Doug Atkins says, hey, I hope it says don't dig that trash. I like that too, for sure. All right. So Nate's sitting here. Nate's like going, what are you guys talking about? Aren't you, Nate?
A little bit.
A little bit. Well, let's.
He's heard me talking enough. He knows.
Yeah, he's heard us talk so much stuff. So he's familiar with a lot of the things we're talking about. So Digging Daryl says, what is the best find that Nate has found? Nate, you want to give him that information? What's the best find that you found so far?
I'd have to say it'd probably either be when I went to one Rev War site. I either found it was a small round ball.
Yeah,
or
okay.
I'd have to say when I went down recently with Brian and I found the dome-shaped button.
That button, right. So Nate just spoiled what I was going to show y'all. So let's see Nate. Let's see Nate in action here with the Minelab Xterra Elite, guys. So Nate, I gave Nate the Minelab Xterra Elite. I said, Nate, take this thing out and show me how to work it. Of course, we set him up. We got him running in part 2. We ran that -1 iron filter on the Xterra Elite on this site to open that machine up. Now, Nate said that it still seemed like it was falsing a good bit running in that fashion. So that's a machine that I've got to sort of play around with a little more. But Nate did have this outstanding find. So we're going to show Nate in action on this one. So Y'all stay tuned. Let's watch Nate.
Okay, so we got Michael's son, Mr. Nate, is out here, and he has just dug his first button off of this site. He's using the Minelab Xterra Elite. Nate, do you remember what it rang up at, buddy?
Somewhere around in the 50s.
Somewhere around in the 50s. Okay,
Pretty
so
sure.
he's saying in the 50s, and I see the edge of it right there. And look at this thing. And this has got a little bit of design to it as well, guys. And it's got the dome shape to it. And look at the there's the shank on the inside of this button. But wow, what a pretty button. And yeah, it's got a little bit of design, I can tell on it. So we'll have to clean that up, maybe a flower design on it. But that is a cool button. And Nate's using the Xterra Elite, and we've got him running in Park 2. Let's see this for a minute. We got him running in Park 2, and we're using the -1 iron filter on the Xterra Elite. And he just got really lucky with running that program, because he just found this beautiful button. And again, Xterra Elite running that -1 iron filter, and he's running his recovery at max recovery at 3, and got his sensitivity turned all the way up, and we've got his iron notched out so he can hear those good signals, and he's knocking fire with the Xterra Elite right off the bat. So congratulations to Nate. Nate, good job, buddy. There's your button. There you go. All right. And he's an excited guy using the Xterra Elite. Okay, we'll catch you guys on our next find. We're killing it, and we're finding buttons. All right, we'll see you guys soon. GoPro, stop recording.
All right. So there he was. Mr. Nate was in action. And so he was using the big coil, and I had the V8X. I'm glad you said that. I had that coil, and I could have put Nate with that coil and see how he did. But he definitely was excited. Were you excited about that button, Nate?
Oh yeah, when I found it, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one too. And
It was a pretty button, yeah.
right. And here's the thing: Michael and I walked over that same area. Did we not,
Yeah.
Michael?
We did. We just walked over it.
Right. Well, he had that big coil, and that helped him too in that situation for well. Helped him very well in that situation. So it was really good. And everybody's saying congratulations, Nate. Right on, Nate. And Nate is going to be a senior in high school this year. So we're trying to expose him to digging some history and having some fun, and hanging out with the guys. And it was a lot of fun for sure. And they're all saying, great job, Nate. Michael, you are a lucky guy to have your boy digging with you. We loved it. We had a ball, didn't we? Did we not, guys?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
Sure.
we were joking and laughing and just having a great time, and it was just a lot of fun. So I appreciate that. So so we got one more video clip that we're going to share, and so Nate dug that button, but then Michael said, "Look here, son, I can dig too." So let's see Michael on his find.
All right, like father, like son. Father's coming back. He said, look here, son, look what I can do. So Michael has dug a couple of buttons already, and he's called me over, and he thinks he's got something really good this time too. So let's see what Michael has down here in his pile. Michael, let's pull that thing out. Let's look at it and see what it is.
I don't know. It's got to be a button.
It's a nice button. Shanks broke off on it. But again, it's another one of those high quality buttons. So whoever lived in this area definitely had money, because these are those thick buttons that you can just tell that they were made of high quality. It's got a little bit of gold gilding or silver plating still on it. And that's a nice one for sure. Again, all of these buttons seem to be falling in the same time period, late 1700s, early 1800s. And Michael's son just dug a beautiful button just a few minutes ago. with a dome shape to it. So this one coming out of the ground and like this, it's been hit a little bit, bumped and dented a little bit, but it's still a very nice button. So congratulations to Michael. You like that button, Michael?
Yeah, it's a high quality button.
Yeah. What do you think about it? You think it's about that time period?
Yeah. Early 1800s, I'd say.
Yeah, at least. So there you go, guys.
Got some gold gills.
Yeah, it's still got some gilding on it. So that's awesome. Okay, well, we'll catch you guys on our next find. We're going to keep digging, see what else we can dig out of here. Okay, GoPro, stop recording. All right.
Okay, so that was Michael, and he found that right after Nate dug his button. And you know, and I get this all the time. Digging Daryl asked a good one. Don't know how people kept their pants up with all them buttons lost. Michael, how many buttons do you think I've dug off of that side?
It's hard to say. I mean, a lot of buttons.
I've dug. I know I've dug over.
It surprises me, you know, every time you go, you know, you get a handful of buttons still off of there, you know, and we know it's been hunted.
Yeah, it's been hunted for sure, because there aren't a lot of those big obvious signals that are still in there. It's mainly button signals and that kind of stuff. So it's been hunted, but I probably dug close to 200 buttons off of that side, if not more. So yeah, it's been a great site for us, and just enjoy going there and saving some history. And all of the finds that you guys see us finding there, they're all donated right back to the landowner, and they take them and put them into, they're actually making a display case. They're putting it into its own special, they're actually putting into its own special building that the guys actually constructing there. And it's going to be really nice. I can't wait to see it whenever they open. All those buttons are all 1700s, either brass or pewter buttons, which are just phenomenal. I love finding those types of buttons, and just really, really neat.
And guys, did you see, we were laughing about this earlier. Did you see that GoPro adds about 50 or 100 pounds? You know, it looked like a 8 and 8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't start again, Michael. It will. I had the fisheye lens on too, so that makes you look a little bit bigger for sure. NH Beach Metal Detecting, I'm assuming that's New Hampshire, says gone back and forth between the Manicore and the XP Days 2 beach hunting the last 2 years. Manicore is still ahead. The Manicore works really well on the beach, but I'll tell you, I've hunted right along with that Manicore with that Days 2, and it hasn't missed a beat as well. Workman's Adventure says nice button. Michael, all that sand to dig in looks like the beach. Well, the only reason why it looked that way was because they had just plowed it. Before, I went out there the week before. If you go watch my Not the Score video or triple score video, you'll see that dirt's hard as a brick bat. And I was struggling, and it was dry. I mean, extremely dry. So
really neat. I'm glad that you got that rain, you know, right after we left there. It poured down, and it really needed it.
Oh, yeah. And I knocked fire with the Manicore on that same site 2 days after Michael and I and Nate had gone onto that site. Yeah, they said that they were laughing because I look like a little kid standing next to you and Nate. That's the truth. These boys are big, by the way, guys. In case y'all didn't know that, I'm a 5'7", 5'8" dwarf compared to them, and it's tough and it's very hot, right? We hunted. How long did we hunt, guys? Maybe 3 or 4 hours that day.
Yeah, probably 4 hours, and that was about all you could do. You know?
It was probably 3 to 4 hours. Okay, so and I wanted to share those, and I know we sort of diverted off, but now I want to talk a little bit about the 7, 8, 9 deal. And you know, I've gone back and forth on this, and I see where a lot of this is coming from, but I've done some testing too. So you guys, I mean, I know some of you love watching those testing videos, but I've done some testing too of my own, and I always test before I take machines out into the field and sort of get an idea of what's possibly going to work. Well, guys, you can see, I mean, it's pretty evident that the Deus 2, there's never a 789 on my screen. And Michael, this side has iron in it, doesn't it? Does it not?
Right. To me, it's not that big of a problem, you know, because we're running sensitive full tones, and rarely do we see that pop up, you know, that I can remember. I don't think,
Right.
you know, we really saw that the whole time.
Right. And, you know, and I see it. I mean, I see it in all other programs except for sensitive full tones and the way that I'm running my machine. Now, is it just that maybe my soul's different? Maybe my nails are different? I don't know. But I don't see it quite as much as what everybody else is complaining about. And of course, I don't think it's that big of a deal either. Again, if you watch the interview with Philippe, you know, we talked about audio and how audio reigns supreme on the Deus 2. We've discussed that and we've talked about that. And if it's a repeatable signal, what are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do, Michael?
We're going to dig it. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, it's just with any machine, you know, you can't just rely, you know, on the VDI. You know, if you can walk around that and turn on that target and still get a good signal, you know, I would dig it. You know, because you never know.
Right. Well, I made this video and we're going to watch. I'm not going to show the entirety of the video because it's you guys can see it's 14 minutes long. But in this video, it sort of addresses it, and I sort of tell you some of the things that I've done to get by with the 789 deal that we're seeing. I don't have the issue that some other people are saying they are having. Now, and again, that could be the soil conditions. It could be the type of nails. That's why you guys really don't see me doing a ton of test videos where I show testing over targets out in the thing. I mean, I believe in them. Don't get me wrong. I love testing it and seeing if I can figure out what settings are going to work for me. And then I take it out in the field and then I use it and see if that actually works. Sort of like what I said with Nate running the Xterra Elite. And that's something I might have to play with. But every now and then, you know, I'll put up a video like this to sort of, you know, show some of those things. You know, again, I take it out in the field after I've tested it, and then I see if it's working or the way that I think it's working out in the field after I've tested it as well. But a test program is really good in a lot of these situations. So in this video, what I did was I ran the sweeper program and I ran fast. Okay. I want you guys to notice what fast is doing versus the sweeper program, and what sensitive full tones is doing. And you got to decide, is it going to be audio reigns supreme and you're not going to dig the 789, or is it going to be, I need the audio and the target ID? And for a lot of people, that's not that big of a deal. But to some people, they want to have an accurate target ID. Well, this is the only solution that I can come up with and what I've seen. So again, let's see what this video is going to show you. So let's take a look, and I may fast forward. So there's some of it that's, you know, I'm not going to make you guys watch 14 minutes of it, but let's watch this real quick.
Okay, guys, today I want to look at something that a lot of people have been asking about, and that is the 7, 8, 9, 10 of a target mixed in iron, especially when you got all these old colonial nails. And of course, most of you guys know I hunt in colonial nails all the time. I hunt in those big square nails all the time. I hunt on huge, massive plantations. And some of the videos I've seen have been asking about this 7, 8, 9, 10 deal. And so I have played around with this machine pretty good and know it pretty good. And one thing that I found out when the new update was released, and then after the new update, was that the sweeper program, this program that I set up with sensitive full tones, really works well on mixed targets and mass targets, especially in colonial nails and those big square nails that a lot of us are dealing with. So, I've seen the videos. And so what I want to show first is I want to show the 7, 8, 9, 10 deal that a lot of you are seeing when you go out relic hunting, and you've got a site that's really loaded with machine gun iron, colonial nails, whatever you want to call it. All those things are mixed in there. So I've got the Deus 2 right now set up on fast, just the regular fast default. Of course, you can play with the settings and so on. But what you'll notice is that there's a big difference between fast and sensitive full tones. Let me explain. Fast is originally set up on 0.71 filters, which were the original filters before they did the 1.0 update. So 0.71 filters really don't have as much unmasking capability as the newer update does. And so this is going to be evident whenever we show that. It's not that it's not unmasking, it's just that it won't give you an accurate target ID. So when 1.1 was put up, then that's when I started playing around with sensitive full tones. And what I found out was that running sensitive full tones and the way that I have this set up, I will not get the 7, 8, 9, and 10. And the reason for that is because sensitive full tones is the only program still left on the Deus 2 that has the original 1.0 filters. All other programs have 0.71 filters. And those 0.71 filters, I believe, are what's causing the 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I believe that XP was on to something really remarkable when they had the original 1.0 filters on there. But sensitive full tones is the only one that has the 1.0 filters. So this first one is going to be using fast. And this is fast. This is in default fast, and so on. So I'm going to show you guys how this machine reacts in fast and what it does over this target. I'm also going to show you sensitive full tones running my sweeper program. Now, just to give you a couple of things that you might want to know, I have notched out 7, 8, 9, and 10 on the sweeper program in this situation. And because of that notch, that helps as well. So I've notched out 7, 8, 9, and 10, but I still have the clear audio with mixed iron. And I still have a good target ID once I've done that. Now, is this going to work for you? I really don't know. I'm just saying this is what I've seen. This is what I've run. You guys have seen me out in the field running this program, and now you should be able to use that same principle and same settings yourself running the sweeper program. So that's a little bit of explanation about what I'm going to show. So the first one, again, I'm going to show is with the fast program. The second one I'm going to show is with sensitive full tones and notching out the 7, 8, and 9 and 10. I think I even went up to 10 and notching out those. Everything else that I have set up, I'm running sensitivity at 90. I'm running the reaction speed at 2.5. I'm running the offset at 10. I'm running the max frequency at 40 on the Deus 2 on the sweeper program. I am using high square audio. I think high square audio actually works really well. I've also got the audio filter up to 1. So those are the settings that I'm pretty much using on the sweeper program. And you guys be the judge. Again, this might work for you. It may not. This is just something I'm noticing. And this is the program that I use on all of my sites. So let's get to swinging over some of these targets, and let's let you hear and see what's actually happening, and see if we can solve some of this 7, 8, 9, 10 stuff that's going on with the Deus 2. I think you guys will be impressed, and hopefully it helps someone. And if you take it out and it works for you, that's great. If you take it out and you say, hey, this doesn't work for me, then that's fine too. We're not saying this is the end all to be all, but it is something that I found that really works well for me. So that's why I wanted to show this. So let's swing over this target. So let's look at it first. So down here, what I have set up is I've got a nail that is raised 2 inches. I've also got a wheat penny, and then I've also got another nail laying on the same plane. And of course, sometimes I use a mercury dime on this test, but this will sort of show you what's happening here. And we'll swing over it and you guys can see. So we're going to start with fast. Okay, and these are the default settings on fast. I'm not changing anything on it, but I just want you to see this because this is what a lot of people are seeing. When you hear the good audio, y'all see that 8, 9 popping up on the screen? Okay, so that shows you what it's doing. And remember, like I said in just a few minutes ago, that was the actual 0.71 filters, which is what was originally on the machine before the 1.0 update. Now, I'm going to show you the sweeper program. Okay, and we're going to be running these settings. And remember, the sweeper program is based off of sensitive full tones, and the sweeper program is using 1.0 filters. So I want y'all to listen to it now, and I want you to pay attention to the screen. We're getting a 78 flashing up. Now it's really a one-way signal, but if we turn on it, we now see that we have a target. And every now and then we get a good solid 2-way hit. And this is a very, very hard test. But again, this sort of helps you with dealing with the 7, 8, 9 scenario.
Okay, we're going to stop there because I'm not going to make y'all go through the whole thing again because that's basically what I do. But you guys can sort of see what was going on there. Now, if you want proper ID and you're willing to turn, which most of us are on that target, then that target's going to come through. Don't you agree, Michael?
Yeah, I agree. If you're going to hit it one way, of course you're going to turn, see if you can get a better signal out of it. So
and I did notice too that if I go a little bit faster on the swing, it really will help bring that target out even more. Even though I had I think I had the recovery set on 2.5. Now I'm running my silencer at 1. Okay. So again, you would still get, and I was going to show this in the other part of the video, and I'll take this. Hang on one second. You will still get the 7, 8, 9 even once you turn on that with the fast program. That's the problem with that program. That when you turn on it, if you want proper ID, you're not going to get it. Now the audio is pretty good on fast. But how many of those 7, and it goes back to what we said the other day, how many of those 7, 8, 9 signals are going to be nails? Right. Michael?
Yeah, that's a good question,
Right. And Dirt Devil Detective brought up a good point. He says he doesn't notch on the sweeper, and you don't have to. I just wanted to see, and I was just playing around with that the other day because I had forgotten that I had tried that at some point. And you know, again, it may even sound even different if I didn't have that notch in there. In fact, I think it does. Do you remember, Michael?
I think it does better if you don't have that notch in there.
Yeah, and I think it does too. But I put that in there just to see what it would do. And again, all that was off the cuff. I didn't plan it, didn't do anything. I just said, hey, I'm going out there and I'm going to see what I'm seeing with fast and what I'm seeing with the sweeper. And that was all just me just going out there, just swinging over those targets and seeing what I would get. Now, will it work for you? I don't know. I mean, I cannot say that it's going to work 90% of the time, but what I can tell you is that it works for me and it works for Michael. I mean, that's all I can tell you. You know, go out there and try it on your site and see if it helps you. That's all I'm saying, because I think you'll find that it works better than what probably maybe some of you think, running that sensitive full tones program. And so you can do it. You can definitely do it. Yes, the sweeper will work without the notch. And Michael and I both run it without notch. I just tried it with the notch in there just to see how that machine would respond if I put notch in. That was the only reason why I did that. So again, you know, you guys be the judge. You know, I'm not saying that solves that problem. It doesn't really, in a roundabout way, because again, if you use any of those other programs, you're still going to get the 789. Right, Michael?
Yeah, because it's got the 0.71 filters. And, you know, that's in the 1.0 update, they, you know, I think they were on to something there. And hopefully, you know, this next update coming out, they're going to kind of go back to that, refine it. And we won't even have to talk about 7, 8, or 9 anymore, you know?
Right.
But I think that's, you know, they were really on to something in the 1.0 program.
Right.
1.0 update, I mean.
And again, guys, these tests are great, and they do help you in deciding what you're going to do out in the field. And I think Lance said this earlier too. You know, well, hey, if it can't hit it in the air, I get that 100%. This helps you decide, you know, what you need to possibly run when you go out into the field. And I do all my machines like that. I just don't make videos about it. I mean, Michael will tell you, I've been out there at night with a flashlight out there swinging over targets, trying to figure out how I can make that machine run better, whatever machine it is. I just don't make videos about it because unless I know it to be true and I've seen it out in the field, which is hard to say because you never know what's under your feet anyway. So, you know, I just don't make videos about it. I just go out and I show it. I show it out in the field, tell you what I'm hearing. That's why you hear me say the numbers all the time, because I want people to sort of have some relation or some sort of relatable activity that's going on when I go out on a hunt that they can be able to take back with them, and they can maybe relate to that as well. Maybe it's the audio, maybe it's the target ID, maybe it's, you know, how that was positioned in the ground. That's why I show live digs most of the time. The only time I don't show a live dig is usually because I got fooled. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I thought it wasn't going to be what it ended up being. So, I mean, that's generally when I don't show a live dig, is because it turned out to be something I really didn't think it was going to be. And I get fooled just like anybody else. So, yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing. But again, that's just something that I use to try to get around the whole 789 thing. And I think it works great for me. And again, you guys can try it out if you want. It might help you. It might not. You know, I don't know. But I'm just saying it does work for Michael and I. Michael, can you add anything else?
Well, they're saying that Philippe said that they really weren't going to address the 7, 8, and 9 on the next update.
Right.
But I mean, who knows? I mean, are they going to go? What filters are they going to go with on the next update? You know, are all the programs going to have 1.0 filters? I mean, that's where we're not having the problem with that. You know, pretty
Right.
much.
Well, and again, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and dig a 789 signal every single time. I'm just not going to do that. You know,
Right.
I would rather have like sensitive full tones because at least I got some idea, you know, if it's a mixed target, that I've got at least a repeatable signal and I'm going to get some sort of indication. Whereas with the fast program or deep high conductor or general, I'm still going to get that 789, Michael. And how many of those are going to end up being nails?
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are going to be, you know, you're going to dig a lot of holes.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and
mean, you know, I don't know. And maybe this 789 thing is something that they really can't figure out. I don't know. But, you know, I did notice one thing, that some of the other machines, some of the other manufacturers, their machines do the exact same thing that the Deus 2 does. I've seen it, and I know which machines those machines are. But again, I've seen it, and you know, it might be an issue all the way across the board with multi-frequency machines.
multi-frequency. Yeah.
Right. It could be. I don't know.
It's
just-
where it classifies those targets like that. You know, it's got to have a spot to put them. And we, you know, it may not be 7, 8, or 9 on all machines, but it kind of puts them in a general area where it can't recognize. You know,
Right.
it's borderline. You know.
Right. David Becker says that's why 6 is afraid of 7. I like that. Tetris Digger says, why put a screen on the detector if you can't use it? He's got a point. You know, I don't disagree with him at all. I mean, I understand the Deus 2 has the best audio out there. And that plays a lot of it. Just like Wisco said earlier, you know, hey, I'm trying not to use my remote. And I don't, sometimes Michael and I have hunted with the WS6 and stuck it in our pockets. You know, we've done that before, especially when we run those big 13-inch coils. Do we not, Michael?
That's right.
Right. Well, you know, I don't know that it is a worldwide problem. You know, I don't know. I don't live anywhere else, and I haven't heard anybody else saying that. I just hear it here in the United States, and you know, I'm just trying to help you guys figure out a way that would work for you guys. You know, that's all I'm trying to do, and you know, is this the workaround for it? I don't know. I'm going to send the video that you guys just watched. I'm actually sending to XP. And I'm going to let them be the judge. Because if you watch that video, and again, if you watched it all the way through the end, what I do is I take fast and then I turn on it, and it's still giving me the 789, whereas the sweeper program and sensitive full tones is not giving me the 789. So, yeah, that's it. So, yes, thank you, Edward G. I appreciate the question because I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. So that's a great question regardless. So Tash Ridge Digger says the screen works good hunting trashy parts full of modern trash. Sure. I will say this though. If I had to pick a machine and I was hunting in a real trashy park or a top lot or something like that, I do think that I might use the Mania core before I would use the Deus 2. What do you think about that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it really locks on the coins, and it does, that screen does help you out as far as looking for coins, you know,
Right.
and round targets like buttons and coins. So
Right.
yeah, I agree with you on that.
Detector 2 Gun says both the screen and the audio help make informed decisions. And that's all we got to go on, you know. We got to listen, we got to look, and then we got to judge. Those are the three things that all of us do. And it's like, we've heard this saying before, the spade is the ultimate discriminator. You know, you got to decide whether you're going to dig that target or not. And you'll know once you dig it, whether you made the right decision based on the data that you were provided over the screen and the audio. So yeah, it's a tough thing. Digging Dude says he don't remember seeing 789s on his side. Is it just with the air test? No, it's not, because I've got a perfect video on my site where I dug a general service Civil War button that was ringing up a 789, and the only reason why I dug it was because of the audio. And it could have easily been a nail, because I dug a bunch of nails digging that 789. So it happens. But when I turned on it a little bit, I was able to get, eventually I got like an 84, 85, 86. But there's a great video that I did. I need to pull that video back out. This was before the updates. So this was on 0.71. And it really is a good example of a 789 and it turning out to be a good target. But how many 789s am I going to dig before one of them turns out to be a good target? You know, what do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say they're not seeing that problem, and it all depends on which if you're running sensitive full tones, more than likely you're not going to see that problem.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and I'm listening to everybody on here right now, and they're saying, hey, I'm not seeing that 789 deal. And again, it could be because of the types of nails that we have here in our area versus, up north. I think up north, they got the same sort of style of nail too that we have along the East Coast. Of course, most of these are colonial nails, those rosehead nails or square nails. Those are the kinds of nails that will give the Deus 2 fits if you don't have that machine set up properly. It just will. I mean, so, I don't know. So, again, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but guys, you can try that. If you haven't tried the sweeper program, try it. See if you see a 789. I mean, I really don't know. Because I don't live in another part of the U.S. and I don't hunt some of the sites that you guys hunt. I mean, my sites are what you guys just saw. They're big, huge, massive colonial plantations and Civil War plantations, and they've got antebellum South plantation, and they've got nails for days. I mean, there's iron everywhere you turn. In some cases, there's so much iron, it's a carpet of iron, of nothing but those nails all over the place. And when I run the Deus 2 over those sites, I can pick those targets out. But very rare that I see that 789 deal as much as what I hear from some people. So I don't know. Again, I don't know. So, yes, Ben Boggs says, yeah, rosehead and square nails will give you different VDIs. They will. They will. They're all over the place for the most part in some cases. But they'll give you that high pitch audio too, which is what throws people off for sure. So appreciate that, Joel. Somebody's going to get lucky and they're going to get a Southern Relic Adventure membership, which we will have our members only live stream coming up too, Michael. So we appreciate that, Joel, so much. And thank you for helping us. Guys, if you, again, are you interested in anything metal detecting related, go check Joel out. Metal detecting, buy, sell, and trade. His information scrolling across the bottom has been the whole for most of the show. He can get you hooked up, get you your stuff fast and quick, and he can get you going in the right direction. So, we'll see. WV Ricky says, hey, maybe XP will fix it soon. I don't know that there is a fix. The 1.0 filters, though, seems like they were on the right track of fixing that. That's why I think sensitive full tones works. It's because it still has those original 1.0 filters. And when they went to 1.1, they reverted back to the 0.71 filters. So again, it's amazing. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on. Maybe that update. Maybe they've got some sort of special plan for that update. I don't know. Edward G says he was on a site yesterday. I dug a hole that I was getting bouncy signal with a 45 in there on the Legend and never could find it after digging too many square nails. The Legend might have been falsing. I mean, the Legend has the same problem in some situations too, Edward G. I've noticed that because these nails that I have they're just different. For, and I don't know if it's the content of them or what it may be, but they are different and they will give you that 789 signal. And even the Legend and some of the other machines do the exact same thing that I see with the Deus too. And that might be what Michael just said too. Could be a multi-frequency thing. I don't know. It's all fun and interesting to think about. And again, I don't know what the perfect solution is, but I do know that I don't have that problem running sensitive full tones. So for whatever reason that is, I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I'm just a school teacher that teaches U.S. history, European history, and econ and government. That's all I can tell you. So, Michael, what do you think? Give me your analysis of all of that.
Well, I mean, we run the sweeper program 95% of the time, and we went on these old colonial sites with these old nails, and rarely do we see a problem with that running the sweeper program, just because it does have those 1.0 filters on it, and I think that's the key to it.
I think that's the key too. Joel says that he thinks and I agree, Joel. I think the audio does sound better, but you still don't know whether that audio is the correct for that target, because the 789 is easily a nail that'll sound that way too. That's the problem. I don't know. I like digging Daryl's comment. He says, yeah, I like digging old square nails. They're relics too. They really are. He's right. He's exactly right. Yeah. So, you can decide whether you want to go with that or not, but that's just something that I played around with the other day. Take with it what you want. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I just don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that's what I use, and I don't have those issues. And I think there are some other people too. There's some other people too that are saying the same thing, running sensitive full tones, which leads me to believe that sensitive full tones is working better with that whole situation for whatever it's worth. Yeah. And again, you're going to dig it. I mean, if there's a doubt, you're going to dig it. I mean, you just are. And you're looking for repeatable signals, like we said. Audio is king. Audio, then the screen, and then turn, then whatever else you need to do to figure those things out. So we will. All right, Michael. Anything else? I think we've been on here for a while. I rambled on and on about that. Yeah. Ben Boggs says, I've had choppy signals, and when they tried to recover the target, found there was no target. The iron atom had totally disintegrated and left a rust patch, which the machine was picking up. And guys, I'll be honest with you, I run the silencer at 1, and I've even run the silencer at 0 on the XP Deus 2. You can get away with running it at 0. It's not fun. You are going to get more iron falsing if you drop down to 0. But 1, to me, is the ideal setting for that silencer, in my opinion. If you're going to hunt in iron, 1 is definitely the ideal setting. Right? Lance says, I call it the history teacher program. I know. I hadn't let Michael Nate. Nate, what do you think about all this?
He's new to it. He don't.
He says, you guys are talking foreign. I'm not real used to all of this.
Like which program?
We're talking about on the Deus 2. We run sensitive full tones. Ben Boggs says he runs his silencer at 1.
That's what I run it to. Right. We run audio filter at 1 also.
Yeah, we do. We run the audio filter at 1. You can run square, high square, or PWM, whichever one you prefer. But most people are saying they run their silencer at 1. So, again, I don't know, guys. That's just something that I was playing around with the other day to see if I could figure it out and to try to help you guys. And that's all that was. And I wanted to just share that video and just show y'all what I was seeing. And again, it may not work at all. I could just be dreaming. But that's why I don't put up a lot of these test videos, because until I really, really know, and the only thing I can tell you is I use this program on my sites and it works great. And Michael uses the same program and it works great for him, and we don't have those issues. I appreciate you, Gene. Thank you so much. You're a wonderful supporter. And like Chris said, guys, remember to hit that like button before you get out of here. And thank you so much, Ben. I appreciate that. Thank you, Wisco. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys being in here. Ricky Bennett says, post my affiliate site. I will post it. I'll put it in the link of this video. There are things on there that you guys might be looking for. I would also encourage you to go to Joel. And if there's something you really want, Joel can get you hooked up real good as well. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much.
Don't forget to mention the show Friday, Brian.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I forgot about it. Before you guys leave, don't forget Friday night, Steve Moore from Garrett is going to be on with Michael and I. So that's going to be a big show, and I meant to put that up and put it out on the banner. So you guys that are interested in the Vortex and would like to come on here and ask Steve some questions, if you do come on here, please be respectful. Steve's taking his time to be on here and share with us some of the information about the Vortex. I don't know how much he'll share, but he is going to come on. He wants to talk about the Vortex with you guys. And this should be a great show, another great show. And I think you guys will appreciate hearing from Garrett. I'm excited about the Vortex. Hopefully I'll have one of those real soon, and I can take it out and run it on a couple of my sites and let you guys see what the Vortex does and how it performs. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know Steve's going to be a great guest, and Michael and I are definitely excited about having him on here with us on Friday night at 7:30 at our regular time. And then coming up in August, we are going to have Delic from Nocta Metal Detectors coming on with us. And she's going to be on here talking about all things Nocta. So we want to give all these manufacturers a chance to show off their products, tell you a little bit about them, why they think their products are so good, and let them explain it to you straight from them. And you guys can decide what you want to do with that information. But we're going to have both of them coming on, Steve Moore on Friday night, and Delic's going to be coming on. I believe we got it set up for the second or third week in August, so that Friday night. So be prepared for that, and it's going to be great. So it should be really, really good. I can't wait to talk to Steve Moore. Michael, you excited about that?
I am. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be interesting to see what he's got to say about the Vortex.
Right. I can't wait to hear, because he may say some things that we haven't heard. That's the other thing. He really hasn't. And again, I'm the first one that he's going to come on live with since he released that last video. So think about that.
We've heard rumors, this and that about this machine, but I'm looking forward to hearing it directly from the guy Garrett there, the man that's going to tell us, hopefully some more information about this machine to, help people make a decision on it. If it is it the right machine for you.
Right. I don't know, but he's gonna come on here and he's gonna talk about that Vortex, and it's gonna be interesting, because there are some people on here that love Garrett machines. There are some people on here that machine's going to fit their price range. There are some people on here that are just going to buy that machine because they just want to buy a machine. So we're going to come on here and try to give you as much information about the machine to help you get familiar with it. If you're interested in it, if you're thinking about getting one, if you're a Garrett user and you're thinking about upgrading, then this is going to be the show for you guys, because again, they haven't done anything since they released that last update video, which was about what, 2-3 weeks ago. So and they're choosing us to come on with, so that makes me feel pretty good, and I know Michael feels really good that they've chosen us to come on and share that information with you guys. So yes, thank you so much. Digging Dude says yes, everyone should be respectful to Garrett. Yeah, Garrett has given us some great products in the past, and you know they're going to give us another great product and what they think is a great product, and people are going to choose to use this machine, and it's up to us to try to help them to learn how to use that machine and to get the most out of that machine so they can find things with that machine. So yeah, we're all going to be respectful, and we're going to have a great time, and it's going to be a lot of fun just being on here with Steve Moore and asking him some questions about Garrett and talking maybe a little nostalgia with the AT Pro and some of the other machines that those guys have released in the past. So yes, it should be really great. So don't forget about that. And I'll be putting up a thumbnail real soon with Steve on there and reminding you guys about Friday night. And it should be a great, great show on Friday night. So it should be really, really good. Workman's Adventure says Garrett is all I've ever used until I got the Manicore. Wow. So there you go. Like I said, Garrett makes a good product. They're not going to release what they think is a bad product. They're going to release a good product. So keep those things in mind. Manufacturers of top machines need to have some women testers that have been detecting a long time. Sure. I think they do, though. They have Digger Dawn and a couple of other people, too, I believe. Garrett does, for sure.
Gypsy
yeah. Gypsy Jules. Yeah, they've got some women. Ben Boggs says, swap machines on sites, go over 100 areas with a different machine. That's exactly right. Look, I did it with the Not the Triple Score. Go watch my Not the Triple Score video, guys, if you haven't seen it. Relic hunting with the Not the Triple Score for the first time on that site that you just saw Michael and Nate and I on. And it's a pretty good video. And I think you'll like what you see out of the Not the Triple Score as well. So, and Metal Detector Northwestern Wisconsin said he's looking forward to his Vortex. So I agree. That's very good. Southern Illinois outside said, I just recently got the Legend. Going to see how the 6-inch coil works when I learn the machine. Have to put my days 2 aside for a month to learn it. Legend's a great machine. The Legend, the Triple Score, the Double Score, they've got a machine for every price range, for every type of detector. Nocta's got you covered for sure. And that's why I'm looking forward to having Delic on here and letting her explain a little bit about those products. And we're going to ask her some good questions about those machines. And we're looking forward to having her on real soon as well. So again, guys, thank y'all so much. We'll be doing some giveaways coming up too real soon for our members. We're going to be doing some Deus 2 giveaways coming up over the next few weeks. And who knows, maybe XP's got something coming for me to do as a giveaway. So y'all need to stay tuned for that as well. And it could be something really cool. So stay tuned for that. Michael, anything you want to say before we get out of here? We've been on here for almost 2 hours. We got to go to bed.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. It's we kind of got talking about the DST settings a lot of times like we do, but it's been a good show tonight.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you and Nate. Nate, I'm sorry I bored you to death tonight. At least we got to see your daddy on video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm looking forward to Friday. It's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Digging Dude says he wants that Rudis. Oh, by the way, Digging Dude, since you brought that up, I did download 4.7. Did I not, Michael?
You did.
And like I said, you guys don't ever see me doing these tests, but I was out in the middle of the night at night running that 4.7 over these blocks and testing it and trying to figure out what works. And I think I figured out some good settings for it. Now, I don't know if it's going to fault, so I'm not real sure yet, but I am going to take it out and hunt with it really soon. It's a good machine. You know, the only problem with that machine is that you can't get it here in the United States, and that's where it becomes an issue. But I do think it is a good machine. I mean, there's a market for that machine as well, and most of it's in Europe. And you can tell that it's geared more towards Europe than it is here in the United States. But the improvements that they made with that new update have been interesting. I will say that, and we'll see if this machine works even better with this 4.7 update. So, yes, Digging Dude says he's excited to hear about the 4.7. Well, I might make a video with it. I sort of hate making a video with it because I know that, you know, you guys can't get it, and so that's what makes it sort of bad. But I'll try to get out and maybe do a video this week at some point if I get a chance, Digging Dude, just for you. Ben Bogg says we need a PI machine. Oh, I will say this before we sign off. Ben Bogg, there is Nocta is working on a PI machine, so that might be the live stream you want to tune in for. I've heard that it's going to be something pretty amazing. Maybe we can ask Delik about the PI machine that's coming from Nocta as well. Okay, guys, thank y'all so much. Anything else, Michael, before we leave? All right. All right. Hey, we're going to get out of here. Thank you, each and every one of you that were here tonight. Remember, hit Joel up if you're looking for any metal detector, accessory, anything. Joel's your guy. You want to get with him. He can get that stuff out to you very quick and fast. And, you know, get any of these things that we talk about on here. Joel can get them for you. Also, too, don't forget about our live stream on Friday night with Garrett Metal Detectors. That's coming this Friday night with Steve Moore. So we're going to have him on here live, which should be a great, fun time. So join in for that. And, guys, get out there and find something great. I appreciate each and every one of you being here tonight. Thank y'all for the donations. We had a few, Mr. Mark Trailer, Digging Daryl. We had Ferris Grump, and then Mr. Fly Rock, Mr. Joel himself, donating a few memberships tonight, and we appreciate him for doing that. Thank you, guys. All of those donations, all of the money raised, again, goes straight back into the channel to make this channel even better, to bring y'all those exclusive interviews like we did with XP. All of those things are coming, and we're looking to make our content even better over the coming months as we head into the fall and we get ready for some real relic hunting adventures. And we're not having to deal with this heat. This heat's awful, isn't it, Michael?
It is. You can't stand
I'm ready. I'm ready for it to cool down, but we still got a couple of more months of heat, but it won't be long. So, all right. Well, I appreciate everyone. Have a great and fantastic night. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully, all of you that signed up for the Go Terrain app through XP, that I got those Go Terrain apps out to you, the codes. Hopefully you've gotten those codes and you're able to download and put those things in. And we might have a few more of those codes we give away too, coming up in the next couple of live streams. So be ready for that as well. All right. Michael, thank you guys. Thank you, Nate, for being on here. Sorry you had to listen to me ramble.
All right.
It was all right. Well, I appreciate you guys being on here with us tonight. And again, thank you guys. Have a wonderful and fantastic rest of your week. And we will catch you guys real soon on our next adventure. We'll see you guys soon. Take care and have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you guys on Friday night, 7:30, Garrett Metal Detectors on live with Michael and I. Friday night, 7:30. Don't forget, we'll see you guys then. Take care, guys.